What's up guys, Treeburgers here with a new Crossout video today, and we are having a look at some raiding today. So lately I've been struggling quite hard to complete my season, and especially the hard season where you have to complete hard raids, and the reason for that is that I see a ton of people who build very poor raid builds. Their cars are just not optimized for raiding. They do not exploit the things that you can exploit in order to not get destroyed in just a second, and generally a lot of the builds that I see are just too weak, and yeah, just not a raid build overall. So the first thing that we are going to look at today is how to build just a somewhat proper raid build. I am by no means an expert in doing so, these are only tips, and do not quote me on anything if I say something totally stupid or something, but these are just a few guidelines that you can take and bring them into your own gameplay, and hopefully just, yeah, do a bit better if you are struggling like I am. So the first thing is to really just go all out on armor and stuff on your vehicle. As you can see, my vehicle here is really well protected in the front and pretty much all around. The only part of my cabin that is exposed is on the top and a bit here on the side, and I really recommend putting as much armor on the front as possible. And the reason for that is because when the AI is attacking, they are only gonna try to aim for a cabin. So say you have an enemy here and he's just firing at you. The only thing he will be firing at is here, and he will keep on doing so. When he rotates, he will be firing here and on my tracks, and when he hits me from the rear, he will hit me here. So a really well protected cabin is a must, first and foremost. Once you have your armor in place, the next thing I'd say that is just as important as protecting the cabin is your wheels. If you do not use proper wheels, you will be immobilized within seconds, because the raiders, especially in normal and hard raids, has some pretty good weaponing, and the AI rarely misses due to the fact that it is an AI and the computer just tends to hit really well. So do not go ahead and use medium wheels, small wheels, starter wheels, whatever. No white wheels, you need at least blue wheels. I just played 3 raids, and in each of those 3 raids I saw medium wheel cars, and you just can't do that because it's weak and you will be blown up before you even started raiding. And so do not go ahead and slap white wheels on. It's just a huge failure. The next thing that we are gonna look at is the weaponing. As you can see here, I have my weapons stacked in a sort of tower thing looking build. And the reason for that is, like I said, the AI will only aim for your cabin. So if you do have your guns all the way up here, there's a very little chance that they will be hit, especially by attacking vehicles, because they will always use like shotguns and machine guns. So they won't really have any area of effect damage to hit your weapons that sits all the way up here. And the next thing you should be aware of is the gun mount and some of these buggy floors. As you can see, they all say various makeshift pipe structures can be shot through, and the gun mount says wireframe gun mount can be shot through. So what this means is that when an enemy machine gun is just hammering you down, all these shots will go through these parts, so they won't take any damage from machine guns. This means that there's a very little chance that you will lose your weapons when you are fighting in a battle. So I'd say this is pretty much a must when you're mounting your guns. You can do other stuff, but this is just by far the cheapest and easiest way to do it. and you won't really lose anything valuable by doing this, unless of course you meet something that has area of effect damage that will still take your tower down. So do make sure to position correctly if you meet an enemy with area of effect. Okay, so one of the final things that we are looking at is a radar. You really do want to have a radar on your vehicle so you can always tell where the enemy is coming from and where they kind of plan on attacking you. So do always look out for that. But I think this was pretty much just some basic raid vehicle tips and tricks that you should implement when you are building your own vehicle. So without further ado, let's just get straight into some raid action and we can talk some more there. Okay, so first thing we are gonna talk about today is understanding how your enemy acts when you are attacking in a raid. So basically the AI works in two ways. They can either be defending or they can be attacking. Basically what this means is that the enemy will either just try to defend a point, and when they do so they will always stay inside this kind of invisible border that they have, and it's just a designated area that the enemy always have to cover no matter what, and no matter how much you attack them from outside, they will never leave this area. Do note that. So that's one of the first things you have to know, and you really have to exploit, especially when playing harder raids where just rushing into the enemy can be truly just lethal. The other behavior that the enemy can have is attacking. This basically means that the enemy will just attack either you, or if you're going to pick up goods or something, they will really just focus on attacking the goods, and they won't stop at anything. Say you're playing perimeter breach, and you picked up the goods halfway through the raid, the enemy will always try to take down whoever is carrying the goods. So basically they are just attacking the goods, or they won't try to take down the carrier, but they will always focus on attacking wherever the goods are on the map. And we'll get back to especially carrying goods around later on in this video, and how you can really exploit this with like choke points and stuff. But yeah, this is basically how every enemy always will act. So make sure to always use this AI behavior to your advantage, because you can just save yourself a ton of trouble if you're always aware of where the enemy will be on the map and how the enemy will attack you. In the video that's running in the background, we are currently playing a data theft hard raid, and as you can see from the first few seconds of the video, or yeah, still at this point, all the enemies that we were attacking were set to defense mode. So as you can see, no one was really rushing us. They were just sitting at the cargo that we have to pick up, and they do not really leave their area at any point in time. So this is a important thing to watch out for. And fast forwarding in this video, where we get to the defense of the data towers, you can see that the enemy is just rushing the towers. So at this point the enemy is just attacking, and they will try to get to the tower no matter what. This is a bit different if you're playing like a frontier defense, where you can also have turrets. The enemy will also attack the turrets, and yeah, this is another choke point tactic that you can play around with, because especially in Rock City, the enemy will almost always try to take down the turrets there, and under the bridge, at some of the turrets, that's just such a strong choke point. And this is a bit of bug exploiting, because it is a bug, but the enemy will always come from one side, so you can basically just create a choke point there and defend the raid, the entire raid, just by having two turrets there. But yeah, let's just skip right to the next step. Okay, so the next thing we will be looking at is exploiting these choke points that I talked about earlier. And we are in the perimeter breach currently at the, what's it called, area 55, 45. I'm not too sure, but it doesn't really matter. But because this map just has a ton of choke points really, and as you can see here already from the beginning we are exploiting the choke points, as you can see in the video that's running in the background at the moment. So basically what I mean about choke points is just tiny areas where you have to force the attacking enemy to come through, and by doing so you can easily target each enemy and take them down very, very fast and very effective. So here we're just pretty much taking down the enemy and waiting for the defenders to all die, and like I said earlier, they can either be defending or attacking, and in this example they are all attacking, because you can see they are just rushing us with one goal, and that's to kill us, and not really trying to defend in any way. One of the good things about doing this is the fact that if you do play against the scavengers, I think we played against in this video, but whatever, if you face an enemy that has like a mandrake, it's really good to do this, because the mandrake will just drive to you, and once he sees you and spots you and starts firing at you, he's already too close to you to even hit you with the mandrake fire. So again, this is just super strong, and you get so close to the enemies that you can just aim at the guns without any issues and take down their guns very, very easily. And aiming at guns and taking down guns is another subject that we will get to later on in the video. And I've just quickly added another example of how it looks like when the enemy is defending. As you can see from the clip here, all of the enemies are just holding back and not really attacking us. We do go a bit too far forward so the enemy can attack us, but we're basically just hammering them down without taking too much damage or anything. So we should be good without the risk of dying. Just to kind of like clarify the difference between attacking and defending. And like I said earlier, if you are like playing perimeter breach and you are carrying the cargo, you can drop it at a certain point, because the enemy will always try to attack wherever the cargo is hiding. So we basically just drop down the cargo and sit there and wait for the enemy to come to us. By doing this, we can pick them out one by one again, because they are just all running into a choke point where they can only come from one direction. And doing so just gives us the upper hand and makes it a lot easier for us to deal with the raiders. Tip number 3 is probably the most important one in my opinion. Of course, everything is important in order to have a successful raid, but this one is just important for you to do, because a lot of your teammates won't be doing it, and I do not understand why, but there's just so many people out there who are not aware of doing this. What you want to do is always aim for the guns. If you are facing an enemy, look for his guns and aim at those. Take down those and he will be just so much easier to deal with. So many people will try to target the cabin, but if you have to punch through 1,000 hit points before you take him down, his gun will just hit you for so much before you take him down. And like, let's say his gun has 100 HP, that one is gone and he can't hurt you no more, so you have good time to take down the enemy without him hurting you too much. So do this, and do not ever forget to do it. It's just ultra important. And also when fighting bosses in the ending or in the middle of a raid, go for his guns too as well, because say if you have a drone carrier, it's just so easy to remove his drones because they are always exposed, so you can just target those, take them down, and then just chill while killing the boss and winning a raid and making your life so much easier. Finally, just look for patterns in every raid, because they are so easy to understand once you've played them a couple of times. You can really just look at the enemy, how does the enemy act, and from that just kind of draw out a plan of what you're planning to do. it isn't rocket science or anything, so just go ahead, look at the raid, analyze how the enemy is moving and how the enemy is attacking you, and just look at the map, find out where you can create these choke points to make it so much easier for you. I think this pretty much sums up today's video. These are just some basic tips. There's so much more to a raid than just what I've mentioned today, but if you do follow these few tips, you should be pretty good going and shouldn't struggle too much to complete raids and stuff. You can also go to the exhibition and look for raid vehicles if you are struggling to build one yourself, and just look out for a raid that has some of the tips that I gave in the beginning of this video, and yeah, try it out, see how everything goes, and do it again if you fail. That's it for my video. Thanks for watching, and as always, I'm truly happy if you guys like and subscribe the video, and I'll see you next time. Bye.